I started working with the energies at sacred sites unintentionally, really. I was at a place, I was travelling along the Ridgeway, and I was at a place called Little Hendritz, and there's a ceremonial site there. And my main thing, or what I normally do to meditate, is holographic breathing, and that has become my normal type of breathing. And I like to sit or lie down and just go on journeys with this type of breathing, and I can't really stop doing it. It's just become part of me. And I was sitting at the circle at Little Hendritz, and I was doing the holographic breathing, and as soon as I started with the holographic breathing, I noticed all the earth energies and spiritual energies started to manifest. They came out to play. And it's not a well-known site. It is a strong site, but it's not well known. It's not really on the map of where people go. But Little Hendritz itself, the village, has about 100 houses. Yet there's 3 major churches in that, and there's 3 quite large chapels. So something has gone on there in the past. And then the Ridgeway where I was at, that's up from Little Hendritz up to the top of the Ridgeway, and then there's this burial mound that used to be a burial mound but had been dug out. It makes like a crescent moon, like a natural auditorium, and I didn't know that it had been a burial mound before. I thought it's just a natural auditorium, and there was a sacred geometry. Even though it had been dug out, it had formed this auditorium in a lovely gradient coming up to the top, nice bowl shape to it, and it had a sacred geometry and potency to it, and very female earth quality there. And that is first what came out. I was just sitting, breathing, meditating, and I could feel the earth energies. And for me, certainly at this time, as it was new, I wasn't intending to bring this about. They were just coming up, and they were strong. And for me, the more earthy, strong energies I found, ooh, I don't know about that. But I just let it happen. They were like strong beings, really. And also these beings are a bit like gatekeepers. They come up first, and as you work with them, suddenly a gate opens, and then it becomes more refined, and then another gate, and you start getting the more spiritual energies coming down. And that is what happened. There were these very strong, particular earth energies that had shapes like beings, like a bit like Pan, but big, powerful. But also what there was on this particular site was, I just kept on hearing these voices saying, heal us, heal us. And I didn't know at the time it had been dug out, and I think because it was dug out and a lot of people are actually buried onto the outside of these sacred mounds, when it was dismantled and the farmer took the soil away for his farm, because it was very fertile, because lots of people had been buried into it. Maybe it disturbed them, I don't know, and I didn't know the history, but I could hear all this heal us, so I just went with it, and it was like spirits were going home. Gradually these spirits were going home, and the whole air of the place was becoming softer, more balanced. It was working. And anyway, as we worked with this, at a certain point, very bright light came down right into the centre. So the auditorium is kind of sitting at the top and it's coming up and around here. So it's very female. It's a bit like a vulva. And then spiritual energy is a bit like entering that. So the vagina would be underground in a way. It was that image. It was the female essence. So it had this very female quality, and then this energy came down. And I was much more happy with this spiritual energy came in. But it really did go off something like out of a Spielberg film. It really did surprise me how, you know, I could see these energies and beings. I could feel the energy of this, and this bright white light coming down, you know, very visible, and you could sense the whole energy of it. And all it was that I didn't intend that. I just sat there doing the holographic breathing. The holographic breathing is holographic. It relates to all the matrices within ourselves, and it relates to the matrices outside of ourselves, which are an image of that. So it related to this sacred site. And I work with circles a lot. Often I will make a circle around me to meditate or to be in, and it gives somewhere for the energy to accumulate and work. And in a way, I don't like the word protection, but it holds other stuff away. So you're working with what's in that circle. You don't have to worry so much about the energy going off and different things coming in. It's just all with it. And it gives it a potency. And this natural auditorium made a perfect circle, which was very female and like a vulva. And then it brought in this spiritual energy. And as I was doing this the first time, I was thinking, I'm not trained to do this. I should be talking to a witch or a druid or somebody who could explain to me more what I was doing. And I did. I knew a lady who was a head of a convent, and we'd done some healing work together. We'd swapped sessions. And I tried to get in contact with her, but apparently she had passed over. She had died a few years before, so I couldn't. So I carried on, and each time I went back to this circle over these days, it changed. It felt like it had moved on. I was becoming more adept at feeling the energies and working with the holographic breathing with it. But it felt like as I sat there and meditated and worked with these energies, that the sacred site evolved. It felt like it hadn't been worked with for a long time, and that there's something about the human matrix that helps activate the sacred site. So on its own it has an energy, but when a human being is sitting there, the matrix of the human being somehow helps to activate the circle. So each time I worked there, it felt cleaner, it felt more alive, it felt like it knew me, it felt like we were friends, and it was very happy to work. So for me, there's something that the human matrix, and certainly the matrix of holographic breathing, helps you key in to these sacred sites, and that you don't have to be a witch, you don't have to be a druid, you don't have to do a ceremony, you don't have to do a spell. In a way, you just have to sit and be there and be in meditation, and automatically what comes to pass comes to pass. The energies start to work. It is a circle, and if you go there so you can be alone, so it's a time when other people aren't there, rather than You know, in a way I'm making these videos because people, I think they have to be something special, a witch or a druid or something to work with these energies. But actually all you have to do is sit there. And if you learn holographic breathing, you can do holographic breathing. This helps you access this area. Now I don't know, you know, I felt it like spirits going home, and it was of, you know, there were kings and queens there as well of ancient times kind of going home, but quite a lot of spirits felt like they were going home. And it was only later I found out that this whole area had been dug out. It was a big burial mound before. And I travelled on from there, and I was staying under a large dead oak tree. So this may be connected, it may not be, it may be a total coincidence, but this oak tree or dead oak tree was a place that the crows, as they were migrating at night, they would land in this oak tree and they would chatter and bounce around in this oak tree. And then as I came and parked under this oak tree, then all of a sudden all of these crows, hundreds of them, flew down, landed on top of my van. I don't know if they were all there, there were certainly lots of them. And my bed, I sleep over the cab, so when I'm lying down, the roof is only, I can touch the roof above me, and I've got insulation, but the actual, it's a Luton van, it's just got a thin layer of sheet on the top, then foam spray insulation that I put underneath there. So the noise of these crows, I don't know, it felt like they were banging on the roof. There were like hundreds of crows and they were tapping and throwing. You can see because there's a glass window there as well. They're dropping sticks on it and hitting it and cleaning their heads. I don't know what they were doing, but this racket went off with all of these crows. I know the crows are something to do with that passage between this world and the next. In the Native American text, the crow and the raven as well, yeah, but the crow is something to do with that. So those two things, I link them together. Whether they are or aren't, I don't know. So, and then I got more, I enjoyed this feeling so much because I enjoyed the energies coming through. I started doing this at other sites. I would just travel from the spiritual site, and it felt like the spiritual sites really wanted it. They didn't want a special thing. They just wanted someone to sit there and meditate and be with and listen to the energies that were going on, because I had no training in how to work with sacred circles, with these ancient sites. And I have a lot of training in being a healer and working with groups and working with the breath, but not this per se, and I enjoyed the potency of it. And the next place I came to, and all of these sites I'm talking about, you can go there and meditate at them yourself. I'm kind of giving you ways of nice places, because you don't want to so much go to a huge site, because one, it will have lots of people in, and also the circle is big and designed for a group rather than one person. You want so if you're going to do this, it's good to have a circle that can accommodate your energy. And the next one that I really enjoyed was the Uffington White Horse. And what I found was that the head of the horse is a circle, or close to a circle. And as you go through it, as you walk onto the head of it, you feel that you're going through a veil. There's something special about the head of the Uffington White Horse, and there's something very special about the eye. The horse is at an angle going down the hill, and can only be viewed as a whole from the sky, in effect. But the eye is completely horizontal, and I think the eye was for ceremony before. I think that's why it was flat, so you can put things on it, that it's the ceremonial table or whatever you call it, that thing. But sitting there was very different to the little Hendritz side. It was more male, had a male core, and it was the horse. As soon as I'd sit down next to the eyes, like it's like riding a horse, you'd be off on this horse. It had a bit of a male energy. But this similar thing, there were these energies, and at a certain point, straight down through the eye, this strong spiritual energy will come down through the eye and connect through the eye. And again, I think that is something that the humans, the human matrix can offer to these circles. Is by being there, somehow we help orchestrate that connection from the divine, from the male, down into the female, that receptive. Somehow our geometry helps that, and holographic breathing also helps that. You're not like having to do it, and with the Uffington White Horse again, it makes this circle. You sit there, you close your eyes, just gently doing the holographic breathing, and it starts going. You'll be on this horse, you're riding, you feel the movement on it, and then this bright energy comes down, and quite often I put my water bottle on the eye, because I'd go there before anyone arrived. I'd go there as the sun is rising, and the shape of it was amazing, because the sun will come up over the horizon and it will come down, and because the bottle was slightly high, that's what it would hit first. So the sun would be sitting there, and suddenly the bottle becomes illuminous as the sun is shining through the bottle, but it hasn't really hit the grass so much yet. Very interesting how that works, and maybe that was done in that way, that it's at a certain angle that something was placed there so the sun would go through it before everything else around it was light. But lovely scenery, lovely feel of driving and moving. And again, the more I meditated in there, the more it opened something in me. But it did feel like it wasn't just my journey. It felt like the horse liked it, the earth liked it, the higher energies liked it. They want this communication between us, the land, the higher self, and it opens something in us, and it kind of, the earth likes it, or these places it likes it. I don't know if it likes it everywhere, but these places like it to me, and they like me. They felt like friends to me. Another circle I like is the sanctuary, which is a small circle on the A4, and it's just below the Avebury, or is in part of the Avebury complex, and that's where the pathway, there's a pathway that comes out from the south of the Avebury circle, and called the Avenue, and it comes down, and originally that would go all the way to this much smaller circle called the Sanctuary, and that was the female, apparently where the women would do their ceremonies, and then they would walk to the circle in Avebury along the avenue, and then there was another avenue coming out north, and the men would do their ceremonies and come down that one. And then there's two circles within the main circle in the Avebury one for the women, one for men, and then I think there was some kind of whatever mating rituals or female male comings together, marriages, male female energies, whatever happening within that Avebury. But the female circle, it is kind of size enough for one person to sit in it, again, very female, because it is the female energy. I have to keep checking the time because I only get half an hour to make these videos. Very female, but completely otherworldly, very different to pretty well everywhere else I've worked, because I'd sit there and lovely female energy, and this energy would come down and it always like woof. It's like a door to somewhere not of this earth. It's like a door to a different universe, a different galaxy, a different place. I'm just going back to the experience of it because I'm remembering something and being there. It did feel like that circle, because it was a female circle, was like an ovary. And then the walkway to the main circling area was like a fallopian tube, and then the main circle was more like the womb. But so you've got that, the sexual, the female genitalia, but they mirror each other, the male and female genitalia. And it did feel like the body of the woman maybe has not been mapped out. It did feel like you were a small part of a much larger thing that spread much bigger than Avebury itself, much bigger. But that particular circle just did seem to connect. It seemed to be a portal to somebody else, and I loved being there. And quite often I'd camp just across the road in the car park across the road in my van, and at night I'd just be drifting between these different worlds. There's something very different about that. So that's very female. And if you go down the road a bit, you've got Salisbury Hill, whatever it's called, Silbury Hill, and that is more male. You sit on the top of that, and I was drawing, you can see the pictures of how at this time I was painting pictures of the whole central nervous system, because I think a lot of the energy was travelling through my central nervous system and through the brain. And this is exactly the same. It's layers of chalk and then clay and then chalk, and they're making a cylinder, and some people say there's a well down the middle. It was exactly a copy of the myelinated glial cells which I was painting, which is part of our central nervous system that light travels through. And sitting on top of Silbury Hill, this column of light that comes down, very quick, very powerful, very male, has a more male quality. And I think it's nice to work with these sites because you feel the different qualities of female and male. And I think within our society, these qualities, through advertising, how we're meant to be, through all these images, have been manipulated to be something that aren't actually in tune with nature. But if you sit in a female site, you get a really good quality of what is naturally female and feminine. Then you get in a more male site, and you feel this more male quality, much clearer, brighter, wider energy of the male. And it's not how the archetypal male is portrayed in a way. It's a bit different. And the interaction, the natural interaction. Again, all I did was sit there and do holographic breathing, because as that connects to all the matrices within me, is mirrored in all the matrices within the earth, and somehow these sites enjoy the human matrix there. And I think it helps them in a way, majorly helping me and me evolving. But each time I went back, it seemed like that site had moved on a level as well as me, that we were on to the next bit of the jigsaw puzzle. So it felt like the human matrix helped that bit of land evolve as well as me evolve. And it seemed very important for this time where we have become so detached from the land, so detached from what we are doing to the earth, so detached from what we are doing to ourselves. It seems important to go. You don't have to do magic, you don't have to do spells, you don't have to do ceremonies. You can just sit there and meditate and breathe and be with yourself. And if you listen, all of these things start getting activated. I don't know what it's like if you're just doing normal breathing, because I just automatically do holographic breathing. But you can learn holographic breathing for free from my website, and you can try it out. And then recently just staying at a friend's house, and she has a bit of land. It's not a ceremonial site, but there's a very particular energy. It's like a vortex or a whirlpool. Female, water. It's just water. Vortex. And this energy was running through me all the time I was there, but it was a bit uncomfortable. And one night I was just sitting, being with that energy, and suddenly that bit where it connects with me, you see, it works up through the chakras, and then it comes out, and there's this connecting, the same as in the, okay, I've got to stop soon, same as in the circles, you get this energy, well, coming in us, that it leaves through the top of the head and comes in through the top of this head. The higher connection, it goes, as it goes through the brain and things, then you drop back from your identity, from your ego, and then as it comes out through the top of the head, it goes a stage further, and you're really connecting to the beyond. That connection happened in myself, and it seemed to connect in the land at the same time, because there was this huge release, and it was for me, but it felt like through the land. It felt like it released. It felt like, oh, this very female energy that's round and round. Suddenly, oof, it had this connection upwards to the beyond. And then everything that's here can release up through this. Anything that's held can be released up there, and this energy from here can come down into it, so you get the more spiritual energy coming down to it. And it was like that, and then I didn't feel under pressure anymore. It was nice, but before, but it was this, oh, it's not quite resolved, but it felt like it used my matrix to do it. That may be imagination, maybe it just cleared in me. And then I just felt great because I didn't feel the pressure, and it opened up through this chakra and was connecting through there. Maybe it just did that. But my feeling was we're working together, and that also somehow helped the land, and the land enjoyed working, enjoyed that connection. And we're working with the land like this and doing these videos. About 2 years ago, my Kundalini rose. It's taken me a couple of years to get used to it. It's not been the easiest of things, but it has cleared through the brain, through this connection upwards, so you get this strong thing. So now when I work with the energies, it has got this connection in me that is mirrored in the earth. Okay, I have to stop. Thank you.